All right, let's dive into something that isn't really making the big headlines, but trust me, it's quietly shaping the entire future of global industry. I mean, if you follow global manufacturing at all, you've seen the news. It's a tough world out there. You've got prices falling, profits are getting squeezed, and supply chains, man, they're just a constant headache. It all paints a pretty gloomy picture. But what if that's only part of the story? What if, behind all those headlines, there's one country that isn't just weathering the storm, but is actually writing a brand new playbook to completely dominate the game? And look, this isn't about the flashy stuff. We're not talking about the latest smartphone or some new social media app. No, this is a deep, fundamental shift that's happening in the least glamorous parts of the economy, but honestly, the most critical. We're talking mines, factories, warehouses. It's a systematic integration of AI on a scale that people are seriously comparing to the first industrial revolution. That's how big this is. And the result? It's pretty startling, actually. While everyone else is struggling, a whole lot of Chinese industrial companies are holding their ground. Some are even increasing their profits, even with prices falling. So the big question, the billion-dollar question, is how are they doing it? Well, the answer really comes down to this massive strategic shift. That old advantage, what everyone called the China price, is being swapped out for something way more powerful and way more sustainable. So for decades, right, China's big advantage was just cheap labor. Simple as that. But wages went up, and that whole model just stopped working. So the new model isn't just a small tweak, it's a totally different way of thinking. You could call it algorithmic efficiency. It's basically using AI to tear down and rebuild their entire cost structure from the ground up. Now, this didn't just happen by accident. It's really built on three huge pillars. First, you've got all this data. I mean, China's massive industrial base creates an insane amount of data, and that's the fuel you need for AI. Second, there's major government support. We're talking state funding, national standards, pilot zones, all designed to make it easier and less risky for companies to adopt AI. And third, you have this amazing tech ecosystem where giants like Alibaba and Huawei are working hand in hand with factories, basically creating a direct pipeline from the lab to the factory floor. Okay, so what does this actually look like in practice? How does it save money? Well, it's everywhere. You have AI that can predict when a machine is about to break down, so you can fix it before a costly shutdown. You have AI managing supply chains with this incredible, almost superhuman accuracy. Computer vision, basically smart cameras, can spot tiny defects that a human would miss every time. And in really complex stuff like chemical plants, the AI is constantly tweaking thousands of little variables to maximize output and slash energy use. It's just relentless optimization. To really get a feel for how powerful this is, let's look at a real-world example. And it comes from maybe the last place you'd expect, a coal mine. Seriously, this is where all that abstract talk about AI efficiency gets very, very real. Just look at this number, 40%. That's the net profit margin at the Dahaize Smart Mine, 40%. To put that into perspective, that is double the profit margin of a Wall Street giant like Morgan Stanley. Let that sink in. A coal mine is twice as profitable as a top investment bank. It's an absolutely mind-blowing number. And here's another one for you. $1 million. That's the annual output per worker. One person generates $1 million in value. And this isn't because they're working harder. It's because the entire system is working smarter on a level we've just never seen before. So how is that even possible? Well, it's because the hardest, most dangerous jobs aren't done by people anymore. You've got autonomous drills, self-driving trucks, robotic tunneling equipment, all running 24/7. No breaks, no sleep, and most importantly, no risk to human life. It just maximizes the heck out of every single piece of expensive machinery. The tech behind this is just fascinating. A core piece is something called a digital twin. They create a perfect, real-time virtual replica of the entire mine. Then, they let an AI run millions of simulations in that virtual world to figure out the absolute most efficient way to do everything. You pair that with all the autonomous vehicles we just talked about, and top it off with an AI safety system that's like a digital guardian angel, predicting and stopping accidents like tunnel collapses before they even start. And I really want to be clear here. This mine is not some isolated one-off project. This exact same playbook is being rolled out across China's entire industrial base. We're talking electronics, automotive, steel, chemicals, you name it. Think of Foxconn using computer vision for quality control, or BYD using AI to fine-tune their assembly lines. This is a massive, systemic change. Okay, so what does this all mean for the rest of the world? Well, this quiet revolution is quickly turning into a very loud, very direct competitive threat for any manufacturer outside of China. And the numbers? Wow, the numbers really tell the story. Just look at the projections for AI adoption in manufacturing. China is on track for 67% adoption. The US, 34%. That's not just a gap, that's a chasm. China's rate is expected to be nearly double that of the United States. If that isn't a widening competitive gap, I don't know what is. And what this does is it creates this classic squeeze play on Western companies. First, you've got intense price pressure. The AI-driven costs are so low they can be super aggressive on global pricing. Second, that old advantage of better quality is starting to fade because AI can deliver unbelievable precision. And finally, it creates a huge dilemma for supply chains. I mean, everyone's talking about diversifying away from China, but where do you even go when no other region can come close to this kind of AI-driven efficiency and scale? So the takeaway here is crystal clear. This isn't some sci-fi thing happening in the distant future. The next great era of industrial competition has already started. And it's not going to be fought with cheap labor, it's going to be fought with algorithms. That old nickname, the world's factory, it just doesn't really fit anymore, does it? What we're watching happen is its transformation into something completely new, the world's smartest workshop. And that really sums it all up, you know? The future of manufacturing is going to be written in code. The winners and losers won't just be decided by who has the best machines, but by who has the smartest software running them. So yeah, this quiet revolution, it's getting louder every single day. And it leaves all of us with one final, really urgent question to think about. Is the rest of the world ready to compete in this new age?